start to what many expected to be another year of transition. With one of football's youngest teams, Pittsburgh had won just 5 games in 1988. But the Steelers were hoping to make 1989 a brighter season, beginning with opening day against the Browns.
Give to Worley, reverse to Lips, coming to the short side up over the 25, and Lips is nailed at the 29-yard line. Ball taken away from him. Here they come, David Grayson running down and going into the end zone. Touchdown. Brister's back. Brister fires at 2. Hodge off his fingertip, intercepted, picked off by David Grayson, and Grayson goes in for the TD. Gone.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a nightmare or something. I had to pinch myself to really find out if this thing was really real.
The worst defeat in franchise history was very real, and things didn't get much better the following week in Cincinnati, where Pittsburgh fell flat 41-10. And after 2 humiliating losses, the Steelers somehow had to find the strength to go on.
One thing that has been characteristic of the Pittsburgh Steelers teams since I have been here is that no matter what happens, they don't panic. I think it's easy after starting off 0-2 the way we did to probably hang your head and quit, but there's no quit in anybody in this organization, and Chuck did a great job of holding things together and saying, hey, don't panic. We're not a bad football team. If we keep working hard and we continue to improve, eventually good things will happen to us.
Chuck Noll retuned the sour notes of an 0-2 start into some of the most beautiful music the NFL would hear all year. During a training camp tribute to the late Art Rooney, Noll became a guest conductor of the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. But his most masterful work lay just ahead. After losing their first 2 games by a combined score of 92-10, the Pittsburgh Steelers regrouped to become the most unlikely success story of the 1989 NFL season. They scaled heights no experts would have predicted, earning their first playoff berth since 1984. And when everyone else said, no, you can't, quarterback Bubby Brister, the Steelers fans, and their maestro coach proved, yes, we can. Road back to respectability began in Week 3. Most people said Pittsburgh didn't stand a chance against the eventual NFC Central champion Vikings. The Steelers didn't listen.
Brister's looking. Brister goes down the middle. Wide open. Touchdown.
On defense, Tim Johnson and number 91, rookie linebacker Gerald Williams each registered 2 sacks, and the Steelers shut down the Vikings for a stunning 27-14 victory. 1 week later, Pittsburgh went to Detroit and decked the Lions. Quarterback Bubby Brister completed a team record 15 consecutive passes and 21 of 27 overall to highlight a convincing 23-3 victory.
Here's Brister pumping, now running to his left and going deep, and Lips is down there, double covered, and he pulls it in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Did Brister ever crank up the cannon on that one?
Brister loved to crank up the cannon all season. And in 1989, the Steelers' offense received an added pop by installing the shotgun to its attack.
And it is the shotgun. The snap back to Brister. Here comes the rush. Brister uncorks it, downfield for Carter. Touchdown!
1 1 The shotgun wasn't Brister's only new weapon, as free agent Mike Mularkey caught the most passes by a Steelers tight end since 1983, and rookie receiver Derek Hill earned a starting job the last half of the season. Rookies also made a big impact on defense, as linebacker Jerry Olszewski tasted success as a starter the last 8 games of the regular season, filling in for an injured Hardy Nickerson. But the biggest rookie contribution came from number 37, Carnell Lake, a linebacker in college who stepped right into the starting strong safety spot. Lake's best game came in Week 6 in Cleveland, as the Steelers Rookie of the Year stifled the Browns with both a fumble recovery and perhaps the NFL's most acrobatic interception of the season.
And here's Kozar side-arming one on this side and tipped and intercepted by Carnell Lake. Oh, what a beautiful move that was.
7 Steelers takeaways helped build a 10-0 fourth quarter lead. But after Cleveland pulled within 3 points, kick returner Dwight Stone set up the game-clinching score in a gutty 17-7 Steeler win.
Dwight Stone out of the 10 to 15, swings to the outside, goes Stoney, 25, 30, turn it on, 35, 40, 45, 50, go! 45, 40, 35, Winder, cross-body block, brings him down at the Cleveland 25-yard line. Oh, Dwight Stone, what a beauty.
2 weeks after defeating Cleveland, the Steelers' defense kept Christian Okoye, the NFL's leading rusher, out of the end zone all day, as Pittsburgh stuffed several Kansas City scoring opportunities to preserve a victory. A year that began in disaster now had turned around, and the young Steelers had climbed back to 4-4 at the season's halfway point. Noel had to be patient with 1989's first-round draft pick, as Tim Worley's 3 fumbles on opening day were the beginning of a rough transition into the NFL. But like the rest of the Steelers, Worley put a rocky start behind him and finished the season with 770 yards, 3rd best among NFL rookies, and was the first rookie to lead Pittsburgh in rushing since Franco Harris.
Giving the ball to Worley. Here comes Worley with a big block, and he goes into the end zone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's the Worley first try. And brother, you hadn't seen a Steeler running back turn the corner like this guy does.
Timmy's the kind of back we needed this year. He has the speed, he has the size. I mean, he's a total package tailback. I was so glad when we drafted Timmy because he can help our team get to the Super Bowl, and that's what we want to do. Sort of like Franco did when the Steelers would win their Super Bowls. That was their money back, their big play guy, and Timmy can make those big plays.
He does, turns down over the 30 to 25, cuts over to the 20 to 50, heading to the far side, turns on the speed, the 10, the 5. It's a touchdown, Pittsburgh. Tim Worley.
Tim Worley does indeed evoke memories of the greatest runner ever to wear a Steelers uniform. Franco Harris, the 4th leading rusher in NFL history, is part of the 1990 class of inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, joining another 4-time Steelers Super Bowl champion, linebacker Jack Lambert. Just as Harris's running style has resurfaced in Tim Worley, Lambert's intimidating ferocity has been reborn in linebacker Greg Lloyd. A 6th-round draft pick in 1987, the punishing Lloyd led the team in sacks and displayed an appetite for destruction that was contagious to every member of the Steelers' defense.
When we go on the football field from now on, that's going to be a hard-hitting game. And when you come and play Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to remember it.
Among the secondary's hitmen were Delton Hall and Thomas Everett, while the pickpockets were Dwayne Woodruff and number 26, Rod Woodson. Woodson helped the aggressive Pittsburgh defense produce the 3rd highest takeaway total in the NFL. At linebacker, the experience of number 53 Brian Hinkle complemented the youth of Hardy Nickerson, while number 50 David Little led the team in tackles for the 3rd straight season. The defense's biggest area of improvement in 1989 was in a young line that came together thanks to the return of number 93, veteran defensive end Keith Willis. After missing the entire 1988 season with a neck injury, Willis came back strong in 1989 to help the Steelers to their highest sack total in 3 years. Tim Johnson, Aaron Jones, and Gerald Williams followed Willis's lead as the line continued to show improvement. But in Week 11, the Steelers called on another group of impact players to beat the Chargers. The Steelers' special teams recovered 2 fumbles and kept San Diego bottled up all day, while Rod Woodson displayed the form that made him a Pro Bowl kick returner.
Taken by Woodson. Now he's heading to the outside of the 30, the 35, 40, up over the 45, the 50, down the sideline, being pursued by Alisik. He's going to go the distance, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
The 20-17 victory helped the sun break through for the 5-6 Steelers. In Week 12, however, Pittsburgh could have been washed away in a Miami downpour. But after falling behind 14-0, the Steelers splashed their way to 34 unanswered points in the type of conditions that brought out the little kid in all of them.
It was something that was extremely fun because you used to get in trouble for doing that when you were little. You know, your mother used to always get mad at you. Now you're getting paid to do that. It doesn't happen all the time, so, you know, when it does happen, it's almost like, you know, we're making history right now, so let's have fun doing it.
Sammy Smith, he fumbles the football. It is loose. It has been picked up by Carnell Lake. And on the far side of the field, now Woodruff's got the ball. Woodruff is running. Woodruff is headed for the end zone. Woodruff is in there for a touchdown.
For a team that had been through the ringer early in the season, the 34-14 victory was part of a late season surge that saw the Steelers win 5 of their last 6 games, including the final 3 of the regular season. The defense shined in a 13-0 shutout of the Jets. And the following week, the Steelers' running game continued its vast improvement, gaining a season-high 219 yards in a 28-10 win over the Patriots. Wide receiver Louis Lipps scored on a 58-yard reverse, and he would finish the season 3rd on the team with 180 yards rushing. Lipps also had a team-high 50 catches, on his way to being named the Steelers' most valuable player. And in Week 16, the versatile Lipps struck for 2 more scores.
Brister fires for Lipps. Lipps pulls it in. He's loose to 40 to 50. Down to the Tampa Bay 40 to 30. The 20. Kiss him goodbye.
The Steelers' 31-22 victory helped bring about the unthinkable. The same team that had lost its season opener 51-0 was now 9-7 and surprisingly headed for the playoffs.
Game for you, big game. All right, Terry. Look good. My God, my God.
In the AFC wildcard game, the Steelers faced an Oilers team that had beaten them twice during the regular season. Many people said Pittsburgh didn't belong in the playoffs and had no chance to win in Houston. But this team was tired of hearing what it couldn't do.
Hey, Greg, let's go. Hey, this is it right here. Hey, we're going special left. It's been good to us all year. Let's take the sucker back to the house, Ron. You get what I'm saying? Hey, let's take it back. Let's go, baby. Special left. To the house, baby, on 3. 1, 2, 3, get out!
Here's the snap to Montgomery. The rush is on, and it is blocked. The kick is blocked, and they're racing for it at the 35. Jerry Olszewski is the one who blocked it. Here we go, here we go. 4th and 1. Now Brister pitches the ball back to Worley. Sends Worley down there over the 5. Worley all the way to the end zone. Worley in there for a Pittsburgh touchdown.
Pittsburgh stuffed the ball right down Houston's throat as Merrill Hodge gained 100 yards on the ground. The Steelers forged a 16-9 fourth quarter lead and proved that on both sides of the ball, they were more than ready to meet the playoff challenge.
See what I'm talking about? Isn't there something different about this game? Huh? Think about it. It is. Playoff, man. That's all it is. Right here, right here.
Throughout most of the game, it was the Steelers, not the Oilers, who played the intimidators. But the Oilers' explosive offense eventually came to life and scored 2 quick touchdowns to take a 23-16 lead, shifting all the momentum to Houston's corner. With just over 6 minutes remaining, the Steelers were 82 yards from the tying score.
Come on, baby, we can do this. We can do this.
White Stone's 22-yard gain on a reverse was the big play in Pittsburgh's charge to the Houston goal line.
Brister on the draw, gives it to Hodge. Hodge cracks it, takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line. Just inside the 2. Hodge waits through there. Hodge is in. It's a touchdown.
And the indomitable Buffy Brister has done it again.
The Steelers tied the score with 46 seconds remaining in regulation and left matters up to the defense in overtime.
First down, and the Steelers maybe can come up with a big defensive play.
Moon hands it off, and Lorenzo White running the far side. He takes a bite of him, fumbles the ball. The Steelers have the football.
Then I asked for a big defensive play, and Rod Woodson comes through. What a play by Rod Woodson.
Rod Woodson's kamikaze hit and fumble recovery set up the Steelers' all-time leading scorer for a 50-yard shot at victory.
Here's Newsome waiting for the snap, just inside the 41. The ball is down. Gary Anderson kicks it, sends it down. It is good. Gary Anderson kicks it from 50 yards.
The Steelers go on to Denver. They have beaten the Houston Oilers 26-23. Should we use the cliche and call them a team of destiny?
You got to believe we can take this thing a long way. And I think that's what you're seeing, a football team right now that's playing with a lot of confidence and that's believing in each other. We're ready to go out to Denver.
The Denver Broncos had been the best team in the AFC in the regular season, and most people felt they would have little trouble with the Steelers. But from the start, Pittsburgh played as if it owned the Broncos' turf, with number 79 John Reenstra, John Jackson, Dermontti Dawson, Terry Long, and Pro Bowl tackle Tunch Ilkin clearing the way for Merrill Hodge to gallop to 120 yards on the ground. Hodge became the first runner to gain 100 yards against Denver all season, and he also caught 8 passes in a performance the Broncos won't soon forget.
And to give us to Hodge, look at him running out to the left. He's heading for the end zone, and a Pittsburgh touchdown.
We're gonna win this one. We gotta keep going. Bear, good job, man. Give me some. Great running. Get some oxygen, man. Get some oxygen.
That damn Hodge is kicking our ass, y'all. He's whooping our ass right now. Oh, whatever the name is.
The Steelers completely outplayed the heavily favored Broncos to hold a 23-17 fourth quarter lead as they tried to continue their storybook postseason.
They're calling us a Cinderella team. We still got our glass slippers intact. Right. Still got them on.
But midnight soon approached as Denver came back to take a 1-point lead. And unfortunately, the Steelers' comeback magic had run out.
2:08 on the clock. Calls for the ball. Snap is a little low. The ball's loose. And Denver may have it. Denver does.
The Steelers had taken the eventual AFC champions to the limit in a game they were never supposed to be in. Perhaps Merrill Hodge summed up the defeat best when he stated afterward, "I think the world woke up today." In one Sunday afternoon, the Pittsburgh Steelers did a season's worth of growing. They grew from a team that began 1989 with 2 disastrous losses, only to endure by reaching deep in their hearts to make themselves winners. They ended the season with 29 players with 3 or less years of NFL experience, including a league-high 12 rookies. But Chuck Noll, acknowledged as AFC Coach of the Year, taught these youngsters to believe in themselves. And now, if anyone tells them what they can't do, they'll look back at the Steelers' miraculous 1989 season and say, yes, we can.
'69, Chuck Noll's very first NFL draft choice was a little-known small college defensive lineman named Joe Green. When Mean Joe took the field as part of Coach Noll's first Steeler team, he proved to be an exceptional player. During his early years, his nickname and reputation were molded by his unbridled ferocity. Mean Joe Green intimidated and punished opponents before, during, and after the snap of the ball. No one had more fun on game day than Joe Green. In fact, no offensive player in the league appreciated him. At times, Joe's fans were aghast. However, during his career, Green changed from hot-headed rookie to model citizen, a veritable teddy bear. Number 75 was the cornerstone around whom the Pittsburgh Steelers' legendary steel curtain defense was built. Joe Green was a 10-time All-Pro who for 13 seasons dominated football games like no other defensive player of his era. Green was able to take the steam out of an opponent's game plan and stop most plays before they started. From Green, there was no escape. You could not run at him, nor could you run away from him. Assured a place in the hearts of Steeler fans, number 75 will be remembered by all football.